Hi, welcome back or welcome to the Nonprofit Plug. My name is Kia Tattegrain and I am the founder of Dare Humanity, also a nonprofit consultant specializing in nonprofit startups, specializing also in communication, so email marketing, social media, website, everything communications. I specialize in that as well as getting that funding for nonprofit startups. I assist with that as well. Often people are kind of afraid of starting a nonprofit because they don't think there's funding for startups, and there absolutely is. And my organization is a nonprofit startup, and we have funding that comes in on a continuous basis. I also specialize in nonprofit education, so I teach courses, classes, seminars on everything about nonprofits. I'm basically taking all that I learned from the program that I went through and teaching it to others. And so that is how I'm able to give back. And I absolutely love what I do. So thank you for joining. I want to prompt you today to share this, invite someone, come back, watch the replay because this is going to be great information. If you're joining me for the first time, this is a Nonprofit Plug. We are doing this series for nonprofits, individuals who are interested in starting a nonprofit. So we're talking about preparing yourself to start a nonprofit. So if you haven't watched the totality of the series, go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's also on my Instagram page. You can go to IGTV, and it's absolutely there. All the episodes are there. You can go back and watch them. The purpose of the Nonprofit Plug is to give soundbite information about nonprofits, 15 minutes or less, where you can learn a good amount of how things run for nonprofits. So thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, feel free to type them and I will get to it. So today we're talking about why you need to start your nonprofit organization. I am very enthusiastic about individuals who are interested in starting nonprofits. I am a nonprofit founder, so when it is placed on your heart to serve a population, a certain individual group of people, it's important that you answer that call and you accept it, because if you choose to not accept the call to start a nonprofit, and yes, our purpose can be connected to a variety of things. It could be that you are destined to start a business, to write a book, or in this case, start a nonprofit. And so I want to prompt you, if you have a population in mind, a type of program or services to provide to someone, then you need to get off of that fence and you need to step into the purpose of starting a nonprofit organization. Do not accept the statistics about, well, the nonprofit sector is saturated. If you start a nonprofit, well, you're just going to fall between the gaps. No, that is absolutely false. Yes, there are a lot of nonprofits out there, but the nonprofits out there aren't going to be like yours. Often the nonprofits that need to get started, they are the ones that have been thinking of serving a population that is currently not being served. So often people will start nonprofits that actually bring something into the sector, in the area, the region, and which is not being provided for or being serviced at the moment. So, for example, there may be a lot of children-based nonprofits in the area, but you have a unique program or a service that you're going to offer that is not offered by these other nonprofits that are in the area. Another thing that makes people a little afraid to start a nonprofit is about the funding. They're asking themselves, well, how are we going to get this funding? We're a nonprofit startup. I don't really know a lot of people. My family's not giving. The funding for startup nonprofits is there, just like it is for these $1 million organizations. The difference is you have to start from ground zero. Every organization had to start from ground zero, and you will be in that position. But that does not mean that there's no funding for you, especially when you have your programs established. You have, even if it's a pilot group of people, the funding is there, and that's one of my specialties. I help nonprofits in their initial stages with funding because the funding is there. My nonprofit has been in existence for 5 years, and we have a continuous funding that comes in just by individuals, not by grants or anything else that's going to be in the future, but just by individuals. And this is a continuous thing that happens, and our donor base just continues to grow. And so that myth was eliminated about the fact that there is no funding for startup nonprofits. So, keeping this in mind, this is even more reason to start your nonprofit. One thing I want to share about the honesty about starting a nonprofit, when I started my organization, a lot of the funding came from me initially. And one way to prevent that from happening is to engage your board, engage your advisory board, engage your volunteers so that they know that they have a fundraising obligation. Now, a lot of people hear the word fundraising and they're like, oh, no, I can't do that. I can't go ask someone for money. But as a board member, advisory board member, what you can do is you share as a founder, as an ED, you share with them. They have that fundraising obligation and they can determine how they get that funding. Maybe they fundraise on your behalf, or they say, hey, Susan, I am running this fundraiser. My organization, I work for them. I am a volunteer on their board. Can you donate to this? Or so what I'm referring to is a give or get policy. So they either give a certain amount of money per year, per month, whatever the case is, or they get it, which is by fundraising. So you can decide on if you want to implement that. I highly recommend this practice because the board should be involved in fundraising, absolutely, especially when they are volunteering, when they have signed your bylaws, when they said that they're going to make the commitment. That commitment also comes with bringing in funding. So don't do it all on your own. Don't do it just within you and one other person. Make sure you're having the other people that are involved in your organization involved in this process as well. So often I share that your nonprofit is going to grow as you grow. So when you evolve, your organization is evolve. When I started my nonprofit, there's a lot of information I didn't know until I was blessed to go into a nonprofit administration program. And now I'm basically teaching everything that I was taught and applying a good amount of the things that I was taught in that program. But not having understanding of everything doesn't mean you can't get started. Just like business owners who start their businesses, they learn along the way. Maybe they get a mentorship, maybe they get a coach that helps them with that process. You can do the same. You can reach out to people. Something that I recommend for nonprofits in their early stages is to reach out to individuals who are currently working in your focus area, currently working with your population, and say, hey, I love to get on a call with you, to have an expert interview with you, to ask you a few questions. We're in our initial stages. We just want to learn. And because your organization has been around for a few years, we see it as an opportunity for us to learn from you. So how about we jump on a 45-minute calls? Oh, you're only available for 30 minutes. Okay, that's fine. I have 30 minutes as well. So these are the things you can do to prepare yourself. You need to always continue to learn, always continue to seek resources. Get on some webinars, get on some seminars. I offer seminars on my website. Jump on a call with a coach. I am a nonprofit coach. I am launching my coaching next month. If you want to get on a wait list, send me a DM because I'm only having limited spots because I have a very busy schedule. So if you're interested in that, feel free to contact me. I also do free consult calls. 30 to 45 minutes. Let's talk about things regarding your organization. One thing that is unique for me is I like to teach people so they're not dependent on me. I want to teach them how to go about doing things so then they can go and teach others within the organization how to orchestrate a fundraising plan, how to orchestrate a social media plan, etc. So consider those things. KiaHarris.com is how you can tap into all those resources and the things that I do. So get off the fence about starting a nonprofit. Just go for it, because once again, if you choose not to start the nonprofit, these population, the people in your heart are going to be abandoned because you decided not to work with them. You decided not to start the nonprofit that is going to be the one that provides the services, provides the programs in order to reach this unique population. My organization started 2015, and then in 2018 we started our work in Haiti, and I was introduced to these communities which were very far from the main road located in the St. Mark area of Haiti. And so if that individual wouldn't have introduced me to them, it's a very high chance that that population would not be receiving the resources, the students would not be receiving sponsorships, etc. So you have to consider this. Even if you're in the U.S., if you have a program in mind, a service in mind, your program can be the one that stands out, the one that is the only one who offers what you intend to offer to that population. So get off the fence, stop making excuses. There are tons of resources out there, including on my website. So just get that information, write down your ideas, start thinking about your board, go and watch the replays of this series on Instagram. One of the things I talked about is who is going to be on your team. And so what I was saying is your board. You need to be having 3 board members. One is you as the president, the second is secretary, the third is the treasurer or the CFO. So if you have those 3 people and you already have the one because you're included, why don't you just start it? Why don't you just jump into that? So once again, on September 30th, I'll be offering a free seminar where I'll go into detail about the reality of running a nonprofit. You can go to kiaharris.com, sign up. It's absolutely free. And then if you want to look at other resources I have there, you want to jump on a coaching call or a discovery call where we can talk about your organization or what your current plans are, then you can do that as well. Don't forget to share this with someone. If you have any questions, I'm going to leave it open at this moment to ask any questions for the next couple of seconds or so, and then we can conclude this part of the nonprofit plug. So some of the things my organization is currently working on, we are running a fundraiser right now. We're getting people active for the Water Run Walk. So it's virtual, obviously, because we have a lot of donors that are across California, even abroad. And so we're having this fundraiser. It allows for people to get active, but also to donate to support the future work of Dare Humanity, but also start our Clean Water Initiative. One thing I like to do when I speak to my clients is to provide a lot of ideas for them. I have been gifted. I'm blessed to just come up with ideas. So usually people will tell me, okay, well, this is what the issue is. I have these gift cards, but I don't know exactly what to do with them as far as giving them to our supporters and donors. And so one thing I really enjoy doing is the ability to sow into others, the ability to help with the development of ideas and strategy. It's always about planning and strategy because you're running an organization. You want to be able to have sustainability along the way. And one of the ways to do that is through planning and strategizing. So I don't see any questions. That's fine. You can send me a DM. You can send me an email, kiaharris.com. Once again, it's all my seminars, resources. Information is there where you can tap in and join free events, and then other things. One thing I want to point out is that all my seminars, those prices are going to increase next month. So if you do not register by a certain time next month, all the seminars are going to increase. So you may want to just go ahead and book the ones that you like to sign up for in advance so that you're able to join at that lower rate before it increases. So thank you so much for joining the Nonprofit Plug. Go back, watch the replay. My name is Kia Tattegrain, founder of Dare Humanity and Nonprofit Consultant. If you want to connect, feel free to connect at any time. And I look forward to seeing you next week for the finalization of the September series on preparing yourself to start a nonprofit.